Today, we count down 30 Japanese tricks for a permanently clean kitchen, including the thing Japanese households keep in the freezer that is not food. Let's get into it. Number 30. Fill one side of your sink with soapy water before you start cooking. Scraping dried rice out of a bowl at 10 at night is a fight you will lose. Fill it with about a gallon of 110-degree water and 1 teaspoon of dish soap, then drop every bowl and utensil in the moment you finish with it. Gelatinized starch and denatured protein dry into a hard, nearly insoluble film as water leaves them, so keeping the residue wet lets soap get underneath instead of sitting on a shell. This is how Japanese home cooks finish dinner with an empty counter instead of a tower in the sink. Number 29, wipe every plate and pan before it touches water. Rinsing grease away feels like it disappears, and it does not. Scrape into a bowl on the counter and wipe greasy pans out with 1 paper towel first. Fat is insoluble in water, so it travels a few feet down the pipe, cools below its melting point, solidifies, and reacts with the calcium in your tap water to form calcium soap, a genuine waxy solid. That gray ring you have smelled for 2 years is soap made out of your own dinner. This is why Japanese kitchen sinks never developed that smell in the first place. Number 28, wash in a fixed order. Glasses, then utensils, then rice bowls, then plates, and the frying pan absolutely last. Washing the greasiest thing first quietly ruins everything after it. Surfactant micelles have a finite carrying capacity for fat, and once your water is loaded, you stop cleaning and start redepositing a greasy film on every glass you touch. This is how Japanese home cooks get glassware with no cloud on it. It is also how my grandma Yuki did it, and she never told me why. She just took the frying pan out of my hands and set it back on the counter. Number 27, shield the zone before you fry. You cannot see the oil land, and 3 weeks later, the wall behind your stove is sticky. Lay foil on the counter beside the burner and tape plastic wrap across the backsplash, then throw both away once the oil cools. Aerosolized droplets carry several feet, and once they land, they oxidize and cross-link into a varnished detergent genuinely cannot dissolve. Tempura shops tape and cover before service for exactly this reason. Everything from here to number 20 is grease and the alkaline chemistry that destroys it, including the 1 teaspoon spray at number 20 that strips a hazed faucet in 5 minutes. Number 26, wipe the stovetop while it is still warm. Nobody wants to clean at the end of cooking, so it cools and sets like glue. Take a warm, damp cloth to it within 2 minutes of turning off the burner, never while the surface is still hot. The viscosity of fat drops steeply as temperature rises, so warm splatter is still a liquid a cloth lifts, cooled splatter is a semi-solid, and reheated splatter carbonizes permanently. This is how professional kitchens keep a range looking new for years. Number 25, mix an alkaline degreasing spray and do not use baking soda for it. Baking soda is only about pH 8.3, and it cannot touch real grease. Stir 1 teaspoon of washing soda or sesquicarbonate into 1 cup of warm water, spray, wait 5 minutes, wipe. At pH 10 to 11, the alkali saponifies the free fatty acids in the grease, converting them into water-soluble soap, so the grease becomes its own detergent and rinses itself away. This is the actual chemistry inside every degreaser Japanese households buy in a bottle. Number 24, for anything truly crusted, use a wrap poultice. Spraying a hardened patch and returning in 5 minutes does nothing because the solution ran off and dried. Soak a paper towel in that same solution, lay it flat over the crust, cover it with plastic wrap, and leave it 30 minutes. The reaction depends on contact time at working concentration, and the plastic stops evaporation from stranding the alkali as a dry powder before it has finished. This is how restaurant crews strip a hood without a wire brush. Number 25, soak the range hood filter instead of scrubbing it. A sponge only pushes the grease deeper into the mesh. Lay it in the sink with your hottest tap water around 120 degrees and 2 tablespoons of washing soda, then walk away for 30 minutes. Fat must be above its melting point to be chemically reachable at all, and warmer water accelerates saponification sharply, which is why a cold overnight soak does almost nothing and a hot half hour does everything. Japanese households have soaked filters for generations rather than scrubbing them. And since we are on grease meeting hot metal, here is another one. Number 22, put alkaline water in the broiler tray before you cook fish. Fat dripping onto bare hot steel makes both the black crust and the smell that lingers for 2 days. Pour half an inch of water and 2 tablespoons of baking soda into the drip tray first. The fat lands in an alkaline bath and emulsifies instead of carbonizing, so you pour out cloudy water rather than chiseling. This is how Japanese households grill salted mackerel on a weeknight without redecorating. Number 21, leave a copper scrubber in your sink strainer permanently. The pink and black slime returns 3 days after you bleach it because you removed the slime and not the conditions. Drop a copper tawashi into the drain basket and leave it there, rinsing it occasionally. Copper has an oligodynamic effect where dissolved copper ions disrupt bacterial membranes and enzymes, so biofilm grows dramatically more slowly instead of re-establishing overnight. This is why the copper tawashi has sat in Japanese drain baskets for generations. Number 20, kill water spots with citric acid. Soap and a towel will never remove that white haze, because the haze is not dirt. Dissolve 1 teaspoon of citric acid in 1 cup of water, spray the faucet and sink walls, wait 5 minutes, rinse. The haze is calcium and magnesium carbonate left behind when hard water evaporates, and the acid converts it into a soluble salt that rinses away. My grandma Yuki kept a thin folded cloth hanging over the tap and did something with it every night that made water spots impossible. But that is number 1, so hang on. Number 19, treat the drain with baking soda and then citric acid monthly. Most people wait for a smell, which means waiting for a colony. Send half a cup of baking soda down, follow with a 1/4 cup of citric acid in warm water, wait 15 minutes, then flush with hot tap water rather than boiling, which can deform a plastic trap. The carbon dioxide fizz is mechanical agitation, lifting biofilm off the pipe wall, while the acid dissolves the mineral scale it anchors to. In Japanese kitchens, this is routine maintenance, not an emergency measure. Number 18, brush the drain and strainer weekly and never leave standing water overnight. Rinsing a drain basket does nothing at all. Take a small dedicated brush to the basket and the drain collar for 30 seconds, then pull the basket out and let it dry completely. Biofilm is bacteria in a polysaccharide matrix bonded to the surface, so water flows over the top of it and only brushing removes it, and it cannot re-establish without constant moisture. Most Americans do not know this, and it is why Japanese sinks do not smell. The appliance run is next, and it includes the thing Japanese households keep in the freezer that is not food, at number 14. Number 17, descale the electric kettle with citric acid twice a year. That chalky shell slows the kettle and makes your tea taste faintly wrong. Put 1 tablespoon into 4 cups of water, bring it to a boil, stand 1 hour, rinse twice. Calcium carbonate has inverse solubility, becoming less soluble as water gets hotter, which is exactly why it plates onto the hottest surface in the kettle, and citric acid turns it into a soluble citrate that pours away. Japanese households descale on a schedule instead of waiting for the taste to change. Number 16, wash the rice cooker inner lid, steam vent, and gasket every single time. Almost everyone washes the pot and closes the lid on the rest. Pull all 3 off, wash them alongside the pot, and dry the gasket groove. Starch-rich condensate is close to a perfect bacterial growth medium, and gelatinized starch drying inside the vent hardens into a plug that then forces starchy water out over your counter on the next cook. This is how Japanese households run a cooker daily for 15 years with no sour smell. Number 15, clean the microwave with steam and a strip of lemon peel. Scrubbing the roof of a microwave is miserable work at a bad angle. Put 1 cup of water and the peel in a bowl, 5 minutes on high, stand 2 minutes, wipe. Condensing steam rehydrates dried food from rigid back to soft, and the D-limonene in citrus peel is a genuine nonpolar solvent that cuts the greasy film steam alone leaves behind. This is a commercial steam cleaner done with a bowl and a lemon, and since we are talking about smells you cannot wipe away, the next 3 are about the bin. Number 14, freeze your food scraps. Fish bones and shrimp shells sitting in a bin for 4 days in summer produce a smell no spray will fix. Keep a lidded container in the freezer and put every scrap of protein waste in it until collection day. Kitchen smell is bacterial and enzymatic breakdown of protein into amines and sulfur compounds, and near 0 degrees, both slow to almost nothing. So decomposition pauses rather than merely slowing. This is standard practice in Japanese apartment kitchens through the summer. Number 13, drain and wrap wet scraps before they reach the bin. Vegetable trimmings seem harmless, and then the bottom of the bin is a swamp. Press them against the strainer to squeeze the water out, then wrap them in newspaper. Decomposition runs on free water, and saturated compacted scraps go anaerobic, which is the specific condition producing the genuinely foul sulfur compounds rather than the mild ones. This is why Japanese households wrap wet scraps in paper first. Number 12, put 2 tablespoons of baking soda under the bin liner and replace it weekly. A scented bag layers a smell on a smell and leaves you with lavender garbage. Most bin odor is volatile fatty acids, butyric and propionic and acetic and bicarbonate. Neutralizes them into non-volatile salts, so the molecule can no longer reach your nose at all. This is how Japanese apartment kitchens stay neutral with the bin sitting under the sink. Number 11. Keep charcoal in the fridge and the rice bin. An open box of baking soda does a little briefly. Rinse and dry a piece of bincho tan or activated charcoal, set it on a shelf, and replace it every 2 months. Charcoal is riddled with micropores, and activated carbon runs to tens of thousands of square yards of internal surface per ounce, which physically absorbs odor molecules and holds them there. Japanese households have used bincho tan this way for generations. Now the final 10, the ones that separate a kitchen that gets cleaned from a kitchen that is never dirty, ending with the pot you never scrub again, and the 2-minute habit at number 1. Number 10, rub your hands and your board on wet stainless steel to kill fish, garlic, and onion smell. Soap does not remove it, and you can still smell garlic the next morning. Hold your hands under running water and rub them against the sink wall or the back of a spoon for 20 seconds. Those odors are sulfur-containing thiols, and sulfur binds strongly to metal atoms at the steel surface, so the molecules transfer off your skin and stay on the metal. This is why Japanese kitchen shops sell a lump of steel shaped like a bar of soap. Number 9, boil your dishcloths instead of replacing them. A cloth that smells sour after 1 day is not old, it is populated. Put it in 1 quart of water with 1 tablespoon of oxygen bleach and hold it at about 175 degrees for 10 minutes, then hang it to dry. Sodium percarbonate releases hydrogen peroxide in warm water, which oxidizes the colored stain molecules into colorless fragments and destroys the bacteria producing the odor. Japanese home cooks boil their cloths rather than buying new ones. Number 8. Keep 5 or 6 cotton cloths in rotation instead of 1 sponge. A single sponge, doing every job, is the dirtiest object in your home, and rinsing changes nothing about that. Bacteria in a warm, wet sponge. Double roughly every 20 minutes, and its closed cell structure holds water for many hours, while a thin cotton cloth dries in under an hour and simply stops supporting growth. You will rarely see 1 sponge doing everything in a Japanese kitchen. Number 7. Use 70% alcohol on the fridge, the handles, and the counters, and do not rinse it off. People reach for the strongest bottle on the shelf, and stronger is measurably worse. Ethanol works by denaturing proteins, and that reaction needs water present. So 95% dehydrates the cell surface and stalls, while 70% penetrates and finishes the job, then evaporates completely and leaves nothing behind on a food surface. Japanese households keep a spray bottle of exactly this beside the fridge. Number 6, wash a cutting board with cold water and soap first, boiling water second, never the reverse. Blasting a board with hot water to sanitize it is the most common mistake in home kitchens. Proteins from meat and fish coagulate above roughly 140 degrees and bond hard to wood or plastic, so hot water first cooks the residue into the board where nothing will lift it, while cold water rinses it out and the boiling water then sanitizes a surface that is already clean. This is taught first in Japanese kitchens, and most Americans do it backwards. That brings us to tools and cookware, where the last 5 live. Number 5. Scrub with a palm fiber tawashi instead of a scouring pad. A green abrasive pad cleans your pot today and shortens its life by years. Use palm or coir fiber with hot water on pots, vegetables, and bamboo strainers, often with no soap at all. It comes down to relative hardness. The fibers are softer than stainless and ceramic glaze, but harder than the residue on them, and every scratch is new surface area holding bacteria where detergent cannot reach. This is why a Japanese pot lasts 30 years and still looks smooth. Number 4, on carbon steel and cast iron, skip the soap, dry it over the flame, and finish with a film of oil. A pan that rusts between Tuesday and Thursday was towel dried, which is not the same as dried. Put it back on the burner for 30 seconds, then wipe half a teaspoon of oil around it. Iron oxidizes in the presence of water and salt. Direct heat drives off the invisible moisture a towel always leaves, and the thin oil layer polymerizes into a hard hydrophobic coating that seals the metal. This is how Japanese cooks keep a carbon steel pan black and slick for decades. Number 3, the burnt pot you never scrub again. 20 minutes with steel wool is unnecessary work and it wrecks the pan. Add 2 tablespoons of baking soda, cover the burn with an inch of water, simmer 10 to 15 minutes, then cool it and lift the crust off in sheets. Hot alkaline water hydrolyzes the carbonized protein and sugar layer chemically bonded to the metal, and bubbles nucleating underneath break the last of that bond mechanically. This is how a restaurant reclaims a pan a home cook would throw out. Number 2, polish the sink with the cut end of a daikon and a spoonful of baking soda. A stainless sink that has gone flat and gray is not stained, it is coated, and chemical cleaners will not bring the shine back. Dip the cut end in baking soda and work it over the steel in small circles, then rinse. Bicarbonate sits around 2.5 on the hardness scale against stainless at roughly 5.5, so it abrades soap scum and mineral haze without ever scratching. The vegetable makes a soft pad holding the abrasive against the surface, and the amylase in its juice breaks down the starch film soap leaves behind. This is why Japanese sinks look like new steel in 40-year-old kitchens. And here we are at number 1, the trick that genuinely changes everything, and it is not a product. Dry the sink, the faucet, and the counters completely every night with one dedicated cloth that never touches soap or food. It takes 2 minutes after the last dish, and it feels pointless, which is exactly why nobody does it. Every problem in this video needs water to happen. No standing water means no dissolved minerals left to become the white haze from number 20, no free moisture for biofilm, and no damp film for airborne grease to bond to, so tomorrow's kitchen starts clean instead of a day behind. I told my grandma Yuki that drying a sink, which would be wet again in 8 hours, was a waste of 2 minutes. I have since apologized. So there you have it, 30 Japanese tricks for a kitchen that stays clean because it is never allowed to get dirty. Do not attempt all of them. Pick 4 this week. Soak before you cook, wipe the stovetop warm, freeze your fish scraps, and dry the sink at night. Your kitchen will feel different within 4 days. A few of these came from my grandma Yuki, who never explained a single one of them, and who would be quietly pleased they are in your kitchen now. Drop a comment below and tell me the one thing your grandmother did in the kitchen that you never understood until later. And subscribe if you want more deep dive Japanese cooking content, because I have much more coming.